Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 most overrated characters in One Punch Man world. Now these characters, some of them actually can be good, right? But I'm going to say that they have been judged over the community, they've been put at the top of the tiers, or they've been put way above where they actually should stand. So there is that to note. Now I was gonna make a tier list, or not tier list, sorry, a list of the top 5 or 3 most kind of characters that have fallen off, right? But I just decided that wasn't a very good idea because there wasn't too many balance changes in the games. So yeah, basically we're gonna be seeing which characters I think, in my opinion, are the most overrated. Now, don't get me wrong, all of these characters can be viable if you're playing them right, if you're using them on the right team, but a lot of these other characters in the game that aren't on this list just fit into a team way better. They can bring more to the team on the table. They can, dish out more damage. They're just faster. They can do more damage. They actually have fluent combos. They don't get stuck, and they're very consistent, right? So there's a bunch of flaws in all of these other characters that I just like to talk about. And just so that you know which ones are, better than expected and worse than expected, right? But just because they're on the list doesn't mean you can't play them, all right? You definitely can. I'm just saying, of course, like I said, which ones are kind of overrated, in my opinion. So, kicking off this list, we're going to start with number 5. We have Tatsumaki. Now, Tatsumaki is a very, very good character, but what happened was when she was first released, right, May 3rd, or not May 3rd, sorry, February 2nd, she kind of just rose to the top of the scale. They were like, oh my gosh, she's so good. She can float around while attacking, which was her one gimmick that was really good. She was ranged, she did a lot of damage, she was pretty decent on AI, she was very, very good, and she was a very solid character overall, which made her the top of the list because she just did so much damage and she was pretty consistent if you had P1 on her. Now the reason I'm kind of dragging her down a little bit, and the reason she's on the bottom instead of off this list, is because she kind of got outshined and outpaced by so many other characters. Like, for example, who do we have? My Mask came into this scene and he kind of teared her up, and that was her one fall from grace. And then we also have Sonic, Prisoner Sonic, that absolutely clapped the competition too, and so then Tatsumaki kind of fell off from number 1. And not to mention the fact that her character doesn't have a good SSR arms, right? Her arms basically makes a dispel, so if you're gonna get like stunned or like electrocuted or whatever, she can just completely just cancel that, which is cool and all, but it kind of sucks when you put into perspective what other arms there are. Like, you've got healing ones that basically guarantee you to survive, right? And those other status elements, sure, they do damage to you, but the healing arms basically guarantee you to stay alive during the battles and your entire team, which makes it very, very useful, so you can invest more damage. You have damaging, of course, damage arms. Guess what they do? They increase damage, right? And we have composure break arms that, break their composure instantly, just like that. And what's really good about those is if you have 2 breakers on your team, you can just use one of those alts, knock them down, and then once they've regained all their composure, knock them down again, and it can be very, very good. So you could run a team like 1 healer, 1 damage SSR, and then 2 composure break SSRs, right? That could be like what you use. So there's no really place for a dispel arms, right? There's no really a place for that. So for that Tatsumaki lands up here in the most overrated characters, because she's good with her potential, but she just can't deliver when it comes to her arms. Now we have someone who's completely opposite. We have Saitama Dreamworld. Now don't get me wrong, he is a quick character, he can attack fast, he can hit hard, but when I've used him and his attack stat and I make a build on him, he doesn't deliver in terms of damage, and he doesn't get the job done as well as all the other characters. And even Silverfang can keep up with him. Now, I'm not going to say Silverfang's an overrated character because I kind of shit on him, and a lot of these other people don't really believe in him because he needs potential to shine. And other than that, he's wasting potential spots, because just if he gets 2 potential, then, you know, he'd be like average, right? But Dream World Saitama, I have P1 on this guy. I have his arms P2. His arms are his best factor, and this is his kind of his weakness. Like, he has attack arms, which really benefits him. But if you consider all the other people who have those arms, like I think My Mask has SSR arms attack, My Mask can completely replace him, because he is a negative crit build, except this time he benefits from the negative crit instead of Saitama just having that 90% damage, right? My Mask has a boost, which is insane for Amai, and it totally increases his attack, and that's why he gets over Saitama. My Mask is faster, has a higher skill cap, and, you know, just outphases him in every single way possible. But Saitama does require skill and has a good kit, but he's fast. But My Mask has a higher skill cap where you have to use your beats, and he can just completely just outrange Saitama in that way, in almost every single way. So there's no point in using Saitama Dream World unless you have a morale task. And then, of course, a morale task, you can just run Prisoner Sonic as well, and then completely just dish out a ton of damage. And the problem, again, with Saitama, he doesn't shine on AI. Like, he needs to be good on AI. If he isn't, then you can't really play him in any other role. So it's really detrimental to your team if you just have him on AI offhand, right? When if you run him as your main, you'll do pretty well, but that means no one else can play on your main, right? So if, for example, you have Zombie Man and Saitama on the same team, it can't really end up well, because one of them has to go into AI, and it will slow your team down completely. Now we have in the 3rd spot Atomic Samurai. Now, Atomic Samurai is a very good character when it comes to speedrunning bosses, like Pluton, for example. But again, he is a breaker, he does good damage, but he's terrible on AI, and that's another one of his glaring issues. He's one of the worst characters on AI, especially when it comes to killing individual enemies. He's not very good at that, but he can dish out a lot of damage, so I'll give him that. But other than that, he's not a very good composure breaking character. Like, he does composure break pretty well, he does have a good kit, but he only has 2 abilities, and that kind of sucks for him, because like, he has 2 abilities, right? You use your E, then what? You have to wait for your Q, then you use your Q, then you switch modes, then you use your E, then you switch modes, and then it's just weird, because when you switch modes, it completely changes the flow of the battle entirely. When you go from, you know, hitting him and you can run around to being really, really slow. So if the boss jumps away, you're fucked unless you use your charge move, which takes time. So it slows you down in the battle, and you can't really stay in one mode, because you only have one ability you can use if you're just staying in one mode, which is very, very limiting. So there is that, a big flaw in Atomic Samurai. But yes, he can do damage, but I just think that's not that good. And I'm just going to go over his arms quickly. His arms pretty average. It's literally just composure break, and again, like I said, it can work well with teams, but he's just not good on AI. That's the problem. Now we have Zombie Man in number 2. Okay, why did I put Zombie Man here? He's my favorite character. He's cool. He does good damage. Whatever, he has 2 modes. He has a lot of abilities. Yep, yada yada. But I'm gonna be non-biased here, and he is overrated, because once the game came out, they're like, everybody that I watched was like, Zombie Man on top, and also, you know, Speedo Sonic on top, and I was like, okay, well, he must be really good. Picked him up, made some builds on him, and then he ended up being really shit. He didn't get nerfed or anything, but what happened was he just ended up being not as good as people thought he was, because of his axe mode really slowing him down. Like, his gun mode is insane. He does good damage, it is great damage, very good range, you know, good consistency. He even has a dodge and move in his Q. You can speed up his recharge rates for his guns if you're half health. Very, very nice, right? But his axe mode basically dwindles down his health, which is pretty decent, right? Which is alright, because that means you can speed up your cooldown for your abilities. But once you reach 0 in your health bar, then you can't use any abilities at P0, which sucks. And not to mention the fact that the axe modes don't do any damage. Your parry doesn't do much extra damage when you parry with it. It's slow, and it sucks, and it can't actually deflect enemy attacks. You still take damage, and your Q doesn't do as much damage as you want it to. So there is that, which kind of sucks. But like, let's just say Zombie Man had 2 modes like gun mode in the same DPS terms. Dude, you'd be lighting up the entire field. You'd be at the character at the very, very top. And now that's what people thought Zombie Man was going to be. But his melee character slows him down like a ball and chain. It just absolutely slows the character down, and it just doesn't really pan out very well. Especially considering that, guess what? His AI sucks. Which, again, unlucky, unfortunate, but his AI is bad. So same thing applies with like Dreamworld Saitama and Atomic Samurai. Same thing goes for team building. Now I'd like to get on to honorable mentions. I'm gonna put Sonic in honorable mentions, and Speedo Sound Sonic the first one, because when he first came out, people were rating him in S-class tier. He was like, he can dodge moves, he can backslash, he can do damage, he's a quick character, top speed's great, you know, combo attack's great, everything's great about him. But the one going issue is his raw damage. His raw damage is so bad, it's not good at all, and that's what really slows him down. But for his playstyle, it's just so good that I can't really put him down there. But if there was a number 6 spot, I'd definitely give it to Sonic, because he's a little bit overrated there. So there is that to note. But of course, now a lot of these characters have been fairly rated as the game has gone on. So with our grand finale, you may have seen this coming, you may have not seen it coming, but the most overrated character is going to be Fubuki. Fubuki is a very overrated character. Now, I get it, a lot of people do shit on her. So why is she overrated if people are saying, oh, she's trash, she's horrible, she's this, she's that, right? The reason I'm putting it overrated is just for the fact that she sucks more than people say she does. And she is, well, not good on AI. She can't take hits. She literally gets stunned. She needs a shit ton of skill to actually activate her combos, because the blink is like barely there. So you need to master her. She's, again, like I said, not good on AI, doesn't fit teams, has a healing arms for something. Like, why does she have a healing arms? That just shits on her damage. She also has, what's it called? I forgot what I was gonna say, but she had a balance change I'd like to talk about, where she actually got her AI buffed, like her AI reworked, and it still sucks, I think. Like, I thought she was gonna have the best AI, because she was gonna be the most recently built AI, and all those character experiences and stuff like that would give her the edge upon making the AI, but apparently not. Apparently Fubuki's AI is garbage, so that sucks. So there is that, and I think that is slowing her down quite a bit. But the one thing I think I'm gonna talk about here that makes her bad is the fact that she has like a weird kit. She has a very weird dodge, accurate dodge, and she has a parry, and she has some weird combo moves, and her damage stat is pretty low. It's hard to develop her damage stat, and she's like just not a very good character because she gets knocked around easily, and she gets smacked around, which kind of sucks, and you know, not a good character. But for those some people have just been saying Fubuki is a good character. It's really hard to believe when she just doesn't perform for so many players here. It's hard to get her PL level up. It's hard to get this up. So it just doesn't look like it shines, which kind of sucks for her. But again, if you are a skilled character, if you've spent the entire game mastering these characters, you can be good at all of them. Every single one of them. Fubuki you can run. Zombie Man you can run. I'm running Zombie Man right now. Atomic Samurai you can run. Saitama Dreamworld you can run. And of course, Tatsumaki you can run on your teams. She's actually a pretty okay meta pick, but she's definitely not up there anymore. So she kind of had a fall from grace. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to my tier list. If you kind of disagree, or you'd like to put in some other characters in there, or you just want to rearrange the list, you can just let me know down in the comments, and you know, I'll hear you guys out on it. Anyways, thanks so much for watching my videos, and you know, have a great day everybody. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.